My guy Wannavelli, man. What's the deal? How you feeling, man?
You know, I'm feeling blessed. I can't complain. You know, just another beautiful day.
Facts. Gotta be thankful. 2022, we here, man.
Damn, I forget.
How's your new year?
It went pretty good, pretty smooth. I mean, had some like situations go crazy in the last few months before the new year. But the fact that, you know, everything's like becoming stable again. Now it's just like, okay, let's get back to the grind, you know, like get back to the journey, you know. So everything is looking pretty good so far. So hell yeah.
How's the mental and everything?
It's going good. It's been tough though. I'm not gonna lie. Like definitely like with, you know, Selena's accident and then, you know, me, you know, taking another adventure with my career. And then also, you know, educating myself on my investments and all these investment opportunities right now, like NFTs, crypto, stocks. I mean, the metaverse, all these different things going on. It's like, you know, sometimes it gets so hard to keep up. It gets overwhelming. So mentally, I've been doing great. Physically, I've been doing better. I've been, you know, working out more. I think I just need to incorporate more like mindful meditation, I think, just to help me relax, especially at night is the hardest part for me. Just trying to fall asleep is so, I think not having a night routine is what's causing me to like have anxiety at night. I don't really have anxiety throughout the day, only at night, which is interesting. But other than that, man, I'm doing great.
Okay. So like, what do you think it is like at night about going to sleep besides the night routine? Do you have like a big dinner like before you go to sleep, or like how's your like your meals or your nutrition like when it comes to like, you know, your just a regular day?
I think I don't have a routine. I think that's my problem. And then also I do sometimes eat late at night, and then I start to realize like, you know, sometimes I don't go to sleep at the proper time that I should, you know, especially, you know, from working, you know, swing shift hours, and then now I'm going to go back to morning shift hours, trying to get that back into a groove. And then also the eating patterns, and sometimes it's hard to like turn off the mind, especially I'm always continuously like educating myself on certain things, like different aspects of like investing and just certain, you know, entertainment, sometimes watching TV, or so far, you know, messing with the Oculus and the metaverse thing, just trying to get accustomed to that. Sometimes I don't have like a proper time to set it off. Like I don't have a slowly night routine where I can just relax myself. So I'm continuously learning, and I'm interested in my heart's racing, and then I just try to shut it off after just 1 minute off of that. So it's kind of like hard to like for me to lay down. Laying down just on the bed is like something, for some reason I just get the panic attack just starts. My heart just starts beating. I feel like certain weird things in my body, and I'm just like, you know, just taking note of it and like, okay, you need a night routine. You need to, you know, read the book, drink some tea.
My boy need a shot.
Yeah. I shot at tequila, yeah.
I just played.
But yeah, that's the hardest thing. Other than that, man, I mean, everything's been going, you know, okay. It's just, you know, like, you know, analyzing myself, and then, you know, basically just gotta create new habits. Like I need to create new habits in order for me to go to sleep and get a great, you know, 7-8 hour sleep, because people don't realize how important sleep is.
Were you still having like that type of like that problem with your sleep when you were working out and stuff, or was it like, is this like coming back as of recent or no?
It's coming back as of recent.
Oh, okay.
But one thing I do know is like when you work out in meditation, and, you know, when I was incorporating the running, and then like kind of the same thing I'm doing right now with my investments, like the more I had a routine of all that stuff together, the easier it was to fall asleep. But right now, you know, things are starting to become stable, and then I'm trying to like become stable again because of like certain circumstances that happen. I'm getting back into the groove. So So it's like a trial and error. It's like one of those things, like this is not going to last forever, but sometimes in those moments at night when you can't sleep and you're having like panic attacks, it feels like this is like never going to end, but then you go to sleep finally, and then you wake up. So now it's just like, okay, take note of that, and you have to change what you did yesterday.
Facts. Yeah, I'm trying to get into like new routines as well. Being more productive in the mornings, especially. Because if I don't work out in the mornings and say all right, I got my workout at 3 p.m., like I'm talking about I'm only going to do one or two things. I'm going to eat or I'm going to be on 2K. And it's terrible, I know, But you know, I'm trying to start reading the books that I actually have. Like I know you put me on the David Goggins books.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started that one. You know, I have one of the books that Beyond Positive Thinking. Like that's a good book. That's one of the ones that like all last year I was just like going through it and just like
Beyond Positive Thinking.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dope. I thought that you had put me on that, but no, I started reading that, and it's like it's not too long. It's like 250 pages, but it's a cool book. It helps me get out of my own mentality and just think about it from a broader aspect of like everything. But no, I'm trying to build better habits. Like I'm trying to meditate. I know you've been putting me on with the the meditation and the vibe, but trying to get into like you said, trying to get into a routine. Like I don't have any trouble like sleeping or anything. Like once my head hits the pillow, I'm out. Like every day. Like there's not one day where I really struggle with sleeping, but I don't really have as much stress as that you be going through, but yeah, the majority just finding healthier habits that can carry on until like even after when I'm done playing football and whatnot. You feel me?
What keeps you at bay? Like what keeps you in balance? Like when it comes to like on a daily schedule, like let's say you have your training, you have your own workouts, and then you also have like the thoughts and preparation for you when you go play ball in San Jose and stuff like that. Like what in your family, and then also starting this podcast, like, what keeps you glued together? Like what makes it more easier for you to fall asleep? What makes it more like it doesn't feel like a burden?
It's just like I'm doing what I love. So at the end of the day, like I could be doing anything, because I remember at a point when COVID first started, I was doing the Amazon driving every day, and it was like depressing, bro. Like it sucked. I ain't gonna lie. It's like the money was cool. I was able not to have, someone over my shoulder looking over every 2 seconds, like, oh, you doing this right? Like I was cool. I was able to be on the phone, whatever, driving, it was nobody on the roads, and it was just weird. It was just a weird vibe. Like I was doing it for about a year, but like it clicked probably like around my 6th or 7th month doing it. And I was just like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like I'd take less money doing something I love. Like even if I was coaching, I'd take less money doing what I love than doing something I don't like.
I think that's so interesting too. Is like people, that's the one thing I learned. Like I learned that lesson. Like I took an opportunity to make more money, but then work these like swing shift hours, and I was like, you know what? Hey, it'll be okay. I'm making way more money now. I'm making $20,000 more than what I was originally making. I was like, you know what? This could be a good sacrifice. I said, man, the tables turned. Like, like every day, like was so hard to do it. I was dedicating my whole morning just to like prepare myself to go to work mentally. So, I think there's like a sacrifice that sometimes people don't realize, and people, use different vices. Like people, take pills, drink, or some people, work out. Some people that create like good habits to compensate the hours that they work, and they genuinely don't like the job, but they're getting paid well. I think the fact that you caught on and you realize like, yeah, the money's okay and hours are kind of shitty, but at the same time, it's like it's taking you away from doing other things that you would like to do at a lesser wage or salary or pay compensation. I think that's like super important. I think I learned that. I learned that not the hard way, but I learned that I think the best way, and it's by like putting my foot on the ground and actually doing it first and seeing it for myself, and then being like, I don't want to do this. It's not about the money. It's about like I don't have no opportunity to work on myself or like do the things that I really want to do. So the money doesn't mean shit if it's not investing towards me as a person or giving me the freedom that you really want. So I feel like the fact that you even thought that and felt it and acted on it, and you're still figuring it out. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do, and a lot of people don't get the time to like think to themselves. And I think the fact that you've done that like speaks volume, because then it changes the trajectory of like where you're trying to go.
Facts. And seeing other people, like examples of other people, like say like they hate their job, or just hearing somebody complain about their job 24/7, and I say they've been doing it for 20 years. Or I've been at jobs where they've been like, I've been here for 5-10 years. You know what I'm saying? I hate it here. Yada yada. It's just like, okay, like like I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather
Scary.
take advantage of, while I'm young. Like okay, what do I like? I literally, I remember I had came here. I was going through it, I was going through it in my relationship. I really, didn't like my job. And I remember we came here and we was chilling. We was just chopping it up, talking. We were smoking cigars, whatever it may be. And you were literally like, bro, just write your stuff down. Like, whatever you like, or like, just go for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I thought it was like, while I was doing it, it was like corny, like writing it out. And I was just like, okay, what do I like to do? Okay, I like football. I like training. I like whoop. And I was like, wait, training? I was like, oh, personal training. I was like, hold on, let me actually look at it and get into it. Oh, football. Okay, let me actually keep training for football. That's when I was, at my happiest, when I was in football shape. Why do I not have to be out of football shape just because I'm not playing? You know what I'm saying? Because, I just feel like whatever makes you happy, if you ain't gonna get in trouble for it, you know what I mean? Like, you should pursue it. So if you like playing video games or whatever, that's your passion, and you can make bread off of it, do what you love, because at the end of the day, nobody knows where you're gonna be 5-10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? You could say you love doing radio, right? And like, oh no, that's not a real job. Say it's your parents. I'm not saying your parents, but saying like, oh yeah, like we like. Like, that's not where the real money is. You should be a firefighter, or Juan, you should be a police officer.
Right.
That's where the real bread is at. That's where the real man. They don't know what you want to. They don't even know what you really even like. You feel me? But everybody has a say so. Tries to have a say so, and where you want to do what do you want to do with your life?
I feel like it's like they want to have like that old what's it called, like that, and like back in the days, kind of like our parents, to have like that industrial, before the technology, that industrial career path. Like, you go to school, you go to college, you get a degree, you go to, a good job, a good company with good benefits, a 401k, stock options, and, you work there until you're 65, 62, or until you can retire. And it's like, people forget, especially parents, or, even there's certain people like my age, our age, that like even think like that because of their parents, which I get it. It makes sense. But it's like, we're not in those times no more. Like, people are becoming,
live your life for you.
No, hell no. Like, you see other people becoming millionaires, like with crypto, NFTs, these investments, or pursuing whatever they like gaming and all these things. It's like, you just got to find your own niche. Like, what is it? Like, work in your circle of competence. And it's like, what are the things that like you understand, that you like, that, bro, there's people that make money off creating like YouTube videos of the Smurfs. Like there's millions of followers. Like, there's really a following for everything. So there's a market for everything. So it's like, kind of like, why the hell do I gotta follow a certain path or a certain company, or when I'd rather do trial and error, figure out myself, figure out what I like, and go through the trial and tribulations and make mistakes and fuck up and learn, pick myself up, talk to more people, build a network, and continue to try things, instead of just, taking, it's not an easy path, but taking like a traditional path, because like you might not be happy at the end of the day.
And I remember it was something that you had told me. You were like, I'd rather go off my own instinct and fail than go off of somebody else's instinct and fail, because then like it wasn't even your decisions why you weren't successful, or something like that.
No, that's true. Yeah, damn, I can't believe you remember that.
We was out on the balcony, and I was like, damn, that shit like stuck with me. I'm like, damn, bro. I was like, you got a point, because if I, if I trust somebody, if I hear all the voices, right? Yeah. I just posted about this the other day, blocking out the noise. If I listen to somebody, oh, bro, you're too old to try to play football. Like, bro, you still trying to play football? You're still trying to do this? You're still trying to do that? It's like, okay, like, what are you doing at the end of the day? Like, why is everybody so fixated on what everybody's doing? But that's the time we living in, with social media and everything. Everybody's just watching everybody's lives.
Right.
If everybody mind their business, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'll be a lot more peaceful.
They would get further in their own careers.
Exactly.
Or whatever they like to do. It's good that you said that. I just remembered that too. It's like, because a lot of people try to like play victim. A lot of people like to make excuses for like why this happened to me, why I'm here, he, she, they, whatever. Like, but people like, one of the things I hear a lot is like the lack of accountability of like where you're at right now. Like, you like to blame other people. Like, we're humans though, so we are kind of commonly, we are always being influenced at all times, and you have to be very careful of the people that, you know, surrounds you, because they do influence you in a huge way. Like, so I'd rather be wrong because I took a chance than to, you know, be, you know, doubting myself and not being, you know, not knowing myself and just listening to everybody and taking their advice, even though I have a good idea, but, you know, talking to somebody made me think differently. And then, you know, I go ahead and take their idea and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're right. And then I go and do what they just said and then ends up being wrong. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to blame them and I'm going to be like, no, this is all your fault, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not taking the accountability that you had a good idea in the first place. And that probably could have worked. So, like, congratulations, but you played yourself. Like, that's why, like, I'd rather be wrong 10 times because of me, because then I get to learn from it faster. If I take my initiative and if I make a decision and a move and it ends up being the wrong decision, I get to be able to, I can't blame nobody but myself. And that's what I like, because then I could write it down or think about it, analyze myself, what happened, what went wrong. If you make a mistake and you can't tell me why you made the mistake, then you haven't learned yet. And like, that's not a person you really want to be around, because they're going to blame circumstance, situations. So it's kind of like, you have to know yourself, know why you make decisions, analyze yourself. You have to take accountability. If you don't, like, then the world does it for you.
Facts. The greatest teacher is your own experience. Nip Hustle. That's facts, bro. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be where you at right now if it wasn't for your own experiences. I wouldn't be where I'm at for my own experiences. You know what I'm saying? Good and bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It could be in any aspect. But at the end of the day, if you don't go through it, people can tell you, like, and put you on game with stuff. But until you actually experience it and make your own mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Shit. No, that's definitely true. That's why Nipsey Hussle, man, that's the guy who actually started my reading. Like, I remember there was like an Instagram post, or I think an interview, where they talked about the book. This is like 2017, 2018. There was like an interview. Then I remember him like referencing, I think, to Charlemagne the God. I think it was an interview on like Breakfast Club. Like, they were talking about the way of the superior man. I forget the author's name, but I remember reading that book, being influenced. I think this is before he passed or after Nipsey Hussle passed, but it definitely kickstarted my reading again, because I remember I would read off and on, and I wasn't a big reader in school at all. You know, I was just trying to get by, and I was distracted. But when I read that book, The Way of a Superior Man, like, that really changed my life. Like, that was the beginning stage of me, like, holy crap, like, all this knowledge in these books. I'm like, man, I've been, you know, I feel like, you know, books, you either learn from your own experience, you learn from other people's experience, and then other people like learn from both. So I think from reading that book, you like kind of gain knowledge, and you kind of grow fast mentally when you read certain books. A lot of people like to shit on like self-help books and stuff like that, but a lot of self-help books, like, even if it sounds like some woo-woo witch shit and some like good overly positive, like, corny shit, like, there's a lot of gems in there that like have like different perspectives that can help you think more clear of your decisions, and to, like, you know, find your way through the mess of like your thoughts. And I remember that book, The Way of a Superior Man, really taught me so much beneficial things. Like, a book that people are like, when you read a book, you don't just read it once, like, because you're not absorbing everything that's in that book. Like, every time I read The Way of the Superior Man, I'd have to go back like 10 times to read a paragraph, because there's so much in there. You're like, okay, I'm gonna just move on. I'll come back to it. Like, I like to like fast read, so I'll fast read a whole book, and then I'll gravitate towards like certain things, like, you know, certain perspectives that clicked. Like, people don't realize too, like, I mean, at least for me, like, when I read books and there's certain like things and perspectives on there that kind of like, you know, spark something in your mind, those hooks are created like inside your brain, like, because our I forgot like the studies, but, or not the studies, but I know our brains are like very like plastic when it comes to like the growing. I think after like at the age of 25, it starts to our learning gets more harder. It's kind of like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, there's some truth to it. After like 25, you start to like slowly not, you know, grasp like new ideas as much, because you're so stuck in your ways. So with certain books, like, you just, every time you read and every time you get a new perspective and you're open to it, it just branches in your brain. And that book, The Way of a Superior Man, like, I think I encourage everybody to read that. Like, couples too, men, women, like, there's a lot of good stuff in that book. Even one guy told me, when I told him about this book, he literally said, like, oh yeah, this is good. I even bought him, we did like Secret Santa at work, and I got him that book. And then I told him, I was like, man, you should read this, and you and your wife should read this. And then he was like, nah, I'm not gonna show my wife this. There's too much stuff on here. Like, and I was like, no, she needs to read this, or else she's not gonna make you better. Obviously, I know what he was trying to do. He doesn't want to give her all the knowledge, but I'm like, what? To me, that doesn't make sense. I get what he was doing,
Yeah.
but then I was like, look, she's gonna hold you accountable. That book, like, really cuts through the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're a man, if you're a person of honor, a loyal person, like, you know, if you're not loyal to your girl, and you're not, how can you say you're a loyal person but yet you're cheating on your girl? Even I had to go through that too, like, realizing, like, I'm over here saying I'm loyal this, loyal that, yet I'm cheating on the person who loves me, supposedly. Like, you're like, I looked at myself like a fucking coward.
Yeah.
How the hell can you? I can't say I'm loyal, and now I can say I'm loyal.
Yeah.
I can say that for sure now. No cheat, no nothing. I'm sticking to my word, and I, like, try to, I mean, your word is bond. That's one of the strongest things you have. You're gonna make mistakes. That's normal. You don't be too hard on yourself, you know, but, you know, see why you made that mistake. If not, you just wasted the opportunity to grow.
Yeah, that's facts. So, out of all the lessons that you've learned, what was one of the most challenging lessons for you? Whether if it was when you were younger or teenage or when you were an adult, what was one of the, let's say, shifting moments of your life? It was like you had to overcome an obstacle, or you had to get through something, or it helped you, it molded you into the person you are today?
I think when I started to realize, like, everybody is on different paths, and there's a lot of variables on why people are how the way they are. But I think not the worst thing, but I think one thing that makes it problematic and causes you to be distracted and insecure is, like, the whole, like, if you don't know yourself. Like, you hear that like, you know, that caption, it goes like, know thyself. I think the one thing I didn't know for years was, like, I didn't know myself, because I was so, you know, I moved around a lot when I was young. I didn't know how to treat a woman. I was overly emotional. I was, you know, seeing how my dad would react, or, you know, how people would tell you, like your parent or somebody would tell you, don't lie, be honest, but then they would lie, and then you tell them, and then they'll be like, oh, this is different. Or, like, they'll, you know, a lot of domestic beliefs that get passed on to you, and certain ideas that would get stuck to your brain, you start to believe it's true. But then sometimes you realize, like, you have to be able to go through the mess and to find out who you are and stick to your intuition. Also, you know, be vulnerable, ask questions, research yourself, understand why you are the way you are. I think the moment I started to basically rewire my brain, people don't realize, like, a lot of the ways that you think is not even made up of your own ideas. Like, a lot of your ideas is because of your mom, your dad, your grandma, your uncle, that teacher, your friend, your girlfriend, the girlfriend's parents, like, your co-workers. Like, sometimes people forget, like, oh, your ideas are not even your own. Like, these are ideas that you haven't even looked into. Like, you haven't even dissected why you believe that you believe. I think things started changing for me when I started to realize, like, oh, you know what? You're on your own path. You got your own shit to work on, you know, don't judge myself too hard. I was like, I had to realize, like, you know what, my path is different from everybody else's path, and my situation is different than anybody else's. So don't listen to the crowd. Like, just stick to yourself, stay consistent, make mistakes, educate yourself, and just continue to just grow. Like, that, the one, I remember I was like super depressed, like 2017. I was in my room for like a month straight, like I would literally months straight. Like I would go to school, come back. I think this was like the moment when we had moved again, and then I had just stopped going to practice. Ended up, getting let go from the football team at Manteca High too. And then like Coach Reese, they kind of had an idea, but I was, the macho in me, like, I wouldn't want to express myself, and I wouldn't want to say what's going on. I just wouldn't go to practice. I would tell them, hey, I can't make it. I'm moving stuff, or hey, I'm with my dad working, and sometimes I was just so mentally weak that even when I would be at practice, I wouldn't even be at practice mentally. I'd be thinking about like moving, or my relationship at that time, or my mom is gone and my dad, and all this stuff going on. Like I wasn't able to just let go and just play. So when I would be locked up in that room, I remember just being so depressed, like searching videos on YouTube, like, hey, what is depression? Like, why am I sad? Why am I like this? I try to motivate myself with like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis videos, just to try to get me like to go. But then like I'll get a spur of like inspiration, and then it'll just go away. Like it would never be consistent. Like, cause it was obviously something within myself that I needed to fix. I think throughout that time, like when I would YouTube all those videos and like search like philosophers like Alan Watts, Naval Ravikant. I don't know if you can call Naval Ravikant like a philosopher, but he has like certain ideas and certain perspectives that I grasp towards too. And then books like The Mastery of Self and The Four Agreements, The Mastery of Love from Don Miguel Ruiz. Those were like game-changing books for me, like especially at those like dark times. Like without those things and without me knowing myself, that started to like kickstart like, who am I? Who are you? And like those reflecting, words of wisdom that I started to like then figure out about myself, and start to realize like everybody's in the marathon, just in different parts of the race. And I think when I started to like work on myself, I started to then figure out who I am and what I want to do. And then that's what kind of started making things a little bit more easier. So knowing yourself, I think, was one of the biggest things that basically changed like my path for sure.
So with all those, and a lot of the books that you just named, there's a lot of shit that you were putting me up on game with as well when I was in a dark place as well. But that's crazy. That's dope that I'm sad like damn, I couldn't be there for you. You know what I'm saying? Like while you were going through all that, but you got through it, and YouTube University came through clutch. Those books came through clutch, and you're standing tall now. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm sure all that you just said can motivate, or someone could be going through that same thing right now, and they're like, what are these books? What is the Four Agreements? Oh, I'm going through the exact same thing. Like this guy, what he just said, it motivated me to keep pushing, because look, he's happy, he's well,
Mm-hmm.
You're dropping gems right now. That's what I'm saying. He's dropping gems, but I'm happy for you, especially where you're at right now, brother, and just seeing you along the way. It's for sure a great thing to see. You feel me? And I know I tell you all the time, but bro, like I'm really proud of you, because you gotta think about it. It's a lot of other shit that you could be doing. At the end of the day, that's for both of us. It's a lot of other shit we can be doing. We could be out robbing people. We could be out fighting people, going to the bar every day type shit. But no, you know what I'm saying? We're on our grind, and everything applies to the grind. You know what I'm saying? Quiet as kept. I'm happy for you, brother.
Hell yeah. No, I appreciate it. So what about you, man? As it when it comes to, you're gonna play ball soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with the Omarion variant, but I believe like, with that stuff going on, what like at the times right now, and then preparing yourself, is it more than just physical preparation?
It's majority all mental. Because physically, you gotta think about it. Physically, you're gonna be there. That's the easy part. The football part, football. I've been playing football my whole life. I know football. Mentally being there, mentally being prepared to, be ready for these obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna come, regardless of what form. They're gonna come. Being ready to, do the traveling. Learn the schemes and prep for how certain teams play. And it's different now because I'm playing arena, so they get to run before the line of scrimmage. So it's different. It's different. But instead of me lining up in front of somebody, like, they're sprinting at me and my feet are in the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for the majority, it's all mental, just getting myself ready, kind of like the calm before the storm. I'm just, trying to fine tune everything, get all my, my foot placements when I'm breaking down to a T, making sure I'm consistently doing shit that active every day. You know what I'm saying? And just working on stuff, but at the same time, making sure my mental is right. Because I can be as strong as I want to be. I can know all the schemes as I want to be. But if my mental isn't right, my mental health ain't right, you ain't really finna.
Now, do you get nervous, like pregame, pre-practice, like right now, like going into like training camp too, when the time comes up? Do you get nervous?
I get nervous about everything. Like pregame, not for the people. You know what I'm saying? Not for the people I'm playing, because it's like there's not a fear for someone I'm playing, but just the fact like playing on that stage. Like when I was at Lamar, I'd get nervous before the game, not for the fact of like, oh, I'm playing these dudes. All these dudes are big. Like, nothing like that. It's just like, damn, I'm really here. Like everything just came fast, especially, for me. But I feel like for the majority, I'd say the hardest thing for me is probably the butterflies and the mental shit. That's the hardest thing for me. But I like it's not to the point to where it affects me like real bad, because I'm kind of used to it. I've been dealing with it, and you can call it anxiety, maybe you can call it anxiety, but it's just it's more of like an internal thing, not nothing external.
I was like, I was thinking, what's one of the things that doesn't really get spoken about with like, athletes like from JUCO to, D1, D2, D3, and then, indoor football. Like, what are one of the things other than more like the mental aspect I'm trying to get to? Is like, it could obviously be like mental health, but what's one of the things that doesn't really get talked about that like does add a lot of pressure that maybe people don't know?
What don't get talked about, especially with JUCO in California, they don't talk about how tough it is. Like, this is the only place where you can't get a scholarship if you're playing junior college ball. Everywhere else, you can get a full ride scholarship. You can get scholarships to go to these junior colleges. So when you're in California, you got to find your own housing, which is expensive. You got to find your own food. Ain't no meal plan or nothing. And you have to work. And on top of that, you got to play ball. And you got to play at a high level to get a scholarship. So they don't understand how hard it is. For me, it was hard. And I lived 10 minutes from my school. So just imagine somebody coming from out of state, or somebody coming from down south coming up to, NorCal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough. You're on your own. Like, if you don't get financial aid, that's tough. I got lucky. You know what I'm saying? I had financial aid. I was able to stay at home. But even then, it was just like, dang, that money run real thin. You know what I'm saying? That money run real
Especially
thin.
in California. You see a lot of people moving out of California to like Las Vegas, Arizona. A lot of people go to Puerto Rico. Like, people are moving out of state, and country, literally out from California, just because of how expensive it is, and obviously the taxes that a lot of people know. Like, I think that's one of the hardest things, coming to California, because there's a lot of opportunities out here, but then at the same time, it's like, there's a cost. Like, and if you don't got it, or if you don't work hard, if you don't separate yourself, like, you just get lost with everybody else that, obviously there's a lot of variables. I mean, but at the same time, it's accountability. Like, there's no excuses. Sometimes you don't get, the best, cards at hand, but you got to do something with those cards. Like, or else, you just get lost in it.
Can't sit and mope about, the cards you was dealt. You feel me? What is that going to do? What is you crying about, your situation gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
What you whining about your situation gonna do? It's not gonna do nothing for you.
100%. Yeah, that's the one thing that used to like. It irritates me like when I hear from other people, because I was one of those people too that would play victim, but I would never tell it to nobody. Like I would never express it. I would just be hard on myself and like, man, like if this would have never happened, if this would have never happened to you, you would have been here. If I was, the way I am right now, if I was like this back then, I would have propelled, or, I would have succeeded. But it's like you were at a certain place because of certain things, and now you can't get mad at yourself at that. But it's like, it's about what you do now, though. Like, it's all about now. Like, you can't sit here and just fucking woe is me, and it's the fucking president, fuck Joe Biden, Trump did this to me, or fucking, the Senate, the Congress, the boss man, your boss, your supervisor, your coach. I mean, yeah, there's variables, and yeah, people suck, but then it's like, you got to find a way. It might not be where you're at. You might have to quit. You might have to switch teams. You might have to take 10 steps back to take, 20 steps forward. Like, it costs that. You got to make sacrifices. And sometimes, I think people get caught up in the whole playing victim. Some people don't even realize that. I think the people that play victim don't even know that they are. I think because they're surrounded by other people that also do the same thing, because misery does love company, and that's why you have to be very careful who you surround yourself with, because you need somebody who's gonna like check you and be like, you bitching too much, like you complaining too much, like oh, you're telling me like it's everybody else's fault. Like, what about yours? You say everybody else but not you. Like, you gotta take the accountability, because if not, you're not gonna grow. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna move around. You're gonna not take no advice. You gotta be able to take critique. I mean, our human brain or our human body doesn't really respond well to critique, even if it's good critique. Good advice or whatever like that. We have like a defense mechanism where like our chest goes up, or fucking people get agitated or frustrated, or feel like defensive. But you need to also be able to separate the message from the messenger, or else you'll never learn. Like, there's some stuff that I'll sometimes get critiqued with from my lady, and I almost immediately just get defensive, or I try to like justify it, whatever. But sometimes after I justify, I look back and think about it. I'm like, fuck, she's right. And I would tell her too. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm still human. Yeah. Like, I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, but at the same time, I'm still working on myself. Yeah. But the one fucking thing I won't do is fucking blame anybody. Yeah. Fuck that.
But what helps a lot of people with that? Or what, a lot of people, why they can't accept that accountability? It's because a lot of people wasn't in sports, bro. They don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Making a mistake, it being on film, and your coach looking at you like, hey, this dude juked you, caught a 50-yard bomb. Who you gonna point at? It's you and the other man. You know what I'm saying? You messed up. Or, hey, you wasn't at practice. There ain't nobody else's fault but you. There's no excuses, right? Now, in the real world, people that maybe they weren't a part of a team, even working, they weren't a part of a team, right? They say they've always, say they sold shoes or did whatever, right?
Right.
Sold weed or whatever. They ain't never been a part of a team. Like, they don't understand, like, your actions are your actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't point the finger. You feel me? Like, oh, I'm like this because of my brother. He ain't living your life for you.
Yeah.
Your partners ain't living your life for you.
I think until you change that narrative too, it's like you're gonna be victim your whole life. Like, that's why I love that Nipsey Hussle quote. I fucking always mess this up. This quote where it's like, would you rather be at peace with yourself and at war with the world, or at peace with the world and at war with yourself?
It was the other way.
Fuck. Fucking knew it. Something
it was
like that.
But nah, that's facts. That's facts, bro. And I always be posting every time I see, them post that or somebody post that and, have the little quotes in it. I always repost it. Because you never know who needs to see it.
Yeah. I feel like that like speaks to like the victim thing too. It's like, that's why I think it's so important to like know who you are. If you don't know who you are, I posted something like Joe Rogan had like posted on his like page, but it was like something like, if you don't know yourself, you're always gonna be taking advice and listening to people who don't even know themselves. So you're always going to be following the latest fucking trends and, you know, the latest fucking artist or, you know, the certain brands and all that shit. Like, I mean, if you like it, genuinely like it, that by all means, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're buying shit, like you're buying fucking, bro, you're driving a fucking 2007 Nissan Altima and you have fucking a Gucci belt, like you might have to rethink your priorities, bro. You might have to invest some of that money.
Got the designer on.
Like, get it together. We're at this age and you're not investing no money, but yet you're going to all these fucking raves and, you know, you're partying in the club and you're not even investing no money. Like, you got nothing in your bank account, but you got all these fucking wristbands from all these other places. Like, you gonna have to take a seat, brother.
Somebody gonna be hurt by that. Somebody gonna watch this and be like, you gonna just see a fat tear.
Better tie them laces. You better tie them laces and put that shoe on.
Oh man.
But I mean, obviously I say that with good intentions. But if you invest in your money and you having all your fun, I think by all means do you though. Like everybody, like, you deserve to have fun. I don't believe in like living frugal. Like I don't believe into like, you know, like saving all your money, having no fun and living a frugal life. But if you are happy and you feel great about yourself and what you're doing, then you're doing right by yourself. Nobody can judge you. I just think for the people that are going through like, you know, identity crisis and stuff like that, it's like, you know what, that's part of the problem. You're not, you don't know who you are. Take the time to know who you are. Separate yourself. You got to stop. Like, that's the one thing I did that really changed my life is like I eliminated people from my life, blood or not. Like, I don't give a flying fuck who you are. Like, if you're not benefiting me in a way, now benefit doesn't mean like, you know, currency. Like, benefiting me is like, if you're not trying to help me grow, then you're obviously pulling me down.
And it doesn't matter if they're, say that again, and it don't matter if they friends or family.
Nah, fuck you.
Facts.
Fuck
a lot
you.
of people get tied into that. Like,
I don't owe you shit.
Oh, this is my cousin. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I know at times he can give me bad advice. He can be whoop, or every time I'm with him, I'm doing this, or he's not a good influence for me, bro. Like, or he's stealing from me. Like, what?
Yeah, like, I don't
just
care if it's
your cousin, you gonna let him get away with all that and do all that?
And I'd be going drastic. Like, if it's your mom, your dad, like your spouse, the person you're with, if they're not helping you grow and you're not trying your best to, you know, like you're not taking accountability, like you're not washing the dishes when they should be, you're not filling up the gas tank when you see it, like you're not having an open dialogue conversation with that person, and let's say you do and it's not getting nowhere, remove yourself. Nothing's wrong with that. You don't owe nobody shit. I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't owe the person who birthed me. I don't owe the person who I came from their nutsack. So my dad, I don't owe nobody shit. Like, if you're not good for me, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do to do the best for me, and that's remove myself from the situation, because you only got so much time here. Like, why would I sit here and go through, you know, why would I go through all these, you know, not good influences and waste time trying to help somebody that's not willing to help themselves and trying to achieve something? Obviously, there's a lot of times where, you know, people go through it. You know, mental health is like serious, and I think you should always try to do your best, though. Do all you can, though. I think when you do everything you can to try to help a person, whatever that means to you, and nothing is working out and nothing's going your way and it's starting to be detrimental to you and your mental health, I think nothing's wrong by leaving, removing yourself from the situation. Give that person somebody to talk to. Let their family know, like, hey, I've tried. Like, I did all I can, but I have a life too. And like, if it's, you know, messing up your life, then you gotta, you know, do what's best for you and remove yourself from that situation. Even though if it's your kids too, fuck them kids. I'm just playing. No, just kidding.
So, what advice would you have for, you know, anybody who is going through, you know, whether if they're young or old, going through, like a somewhat of a identity crisis? What advice would you give them? Or better yet, yourself. Even if it's yourself at 16, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, exactly. I think I hate using the word advice, even though I use it. But I think the best thing I could do is like talk about my experience and what worked for me, and, you know, I can show you it, and if it works, dance to it, and if not, disregard. But I think what helped with me when it came to identity crisis, because I caught myself doing that too. Like, I did everything. I was wearing jabots in the 5th grade with the straps on the fucking shorts, bro, and like I was like triple X white tee when I should have been a super small and fucking Old Navy, like Baby Gap. Like I had pictures of me with grills on. Like, obviously, like I did not know who the hell I was. Like, I think one thing that helped me is when I separated myself. Like, I slowly started realizing one time smoking in the car with a few people, and like we were smoking every day, drinking every day, and like doing shit that did not make sense. And I started, like, one time I was just, smoking weed in the car by myself. I remember I had $20. I literally had no job. I was like selling like little like fucking, I was selling like weed, but obviously not on a big scale at that time. I was like selling weed and like,
don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah. Fuck it. But I sounded like what, like fucking like 10 sacks, like a gram, $10 for a gram, an eighth for 35. Like, I remember doing that stupid stuff and then like smoking weed. I remember just thinking to myself like you have to, the people aren't bad. Like, there's a lot of genuine people, even the people that you have to remove yourself with. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from them, because that's the best thing to do for yourself, to give yourself time to think and reanalyze and see where you're trying to go in life. Because I think sometimes we get caught up in like the distractions of like social media, people, your family, all these ideas that aren't your own, and you're not sticking to your intuition. I believe everybody has like a great intuition and everybody wants to be kind, but sometimes we get distracted, and sometimes that causes us to lose ourselves because you get caught up in this social game. Like, it's like social, it's really is like social, like currency. Like when you have a Bape or you have Supreme and you see somebody else that has Supreme, like you connect with them. But then it's like you're connecting within all these like, objects and materials, and yet you don't even know who you are. Like, you can't even look in the mirror or you can't even write down where you want to go. Who do you want to be? I want to be an honest man. I want to be a great friend. I want to shed light to people. I want to hype people up. I want people to feel good about themselves. I want people to be heard. One thing that changed my life, like when I heard Super, when I was going through that tough times, when I was like 14 or 15, when I had heard something like when you die, what do you want people to say at your funeral? And then you think that through, and you're like, okay, well then correlate your life that way. Like, you want people to talk about you at your funeral, that you were so loving, that you were a light, you were motivational, you inspired people. Then do all the things that you need to do to be that person. So I think what worked for me was like, know who you are and know where you want to go. And it's not gonna be easy. Like, it took me like, I'm still learning too. I don't think there's a finish line for that. Like, I think it takes, for you to know yourself and to study yourself, and then also study other great people that you might look up to. I don't think there's nothing wrong with modeling like certain people. I don't believe in like idols. That's kind of weird to me, but I do believe like, there's certain leaders that you can take, knowledge and perspectives and the way they carry themselves, and you could adapt it to yourself. I think nothing's wrong with that. I think the biggest thing, though, that I always encourage is like, know who you are. If not, other people will tell you who you are.
I feel like I've heard that before.
I think so too.
I think. Hold on, I was about to say. I was like, I think I heard that. I heard that before. On a motivational thing. But no, hey, as usual, you dropping gems, my boy. You dropping. But yeah, man, this really gets your brain working. I think that's why I wanted to. I think that's the cool thing about like doing the podcast, like having a conversation, because it does get your like mind going and moving, and there's a lot of things and thoughts that could be beneficial for a lot of people that they might have not ever heard before. So I think this is pretty nice. Facts. And it's something different. Not a lot of people that we know. I know. My boy Billy. He has his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, Billy and Isaac actually. Shout out to them. But other than that, I don't know anybody else that has a podcast. And I feel like we'll have our own swag to it. They have their own swag to theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like we have the opportunity to influence a lot of people. You know, even if it's only one person, you know, we have the opportunity to influence someone through our experiences, through shit that we've been through, you know. And I think that's the main objective. You know, that's what I feel like, you know, what I pride myself on, like with my social media, with my fitness social media. At the end of the day, is to motivate somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the beautiful thing too. I had somebody like DM me on Instagram, and they were saying like it's so good to see, you know, us two doing this podcast, and they were thinking about doing their own. And I was like, you know, what's stopping you? Like, what, people's opinions? Like fuck them. Like, if they're not gonna like encourage you or say any good things about it, like, you know, that's somebody's opinions that you don't need to hear. I think it's always okay to express yourself, express your opinion, even though if it's maybe a disagreement. I think you can have a conversation. But at the end of the day, if it sounds like some hating ass shit and some insecure shit because they can't do it, I think, you know, you don't have to pay attention or pay no mind to it. I think, you know, don't let it stop you from being yourself. Don't let it stop you from doing something that, you know, you see a value. Where I told that person, like, you know, just why not? That's why I said, why not? Like, why not do it? Like, you know, you have value. You have a lot of value that, you know, within your career, your life, that people are going through the same shit, just in different variables. So I think everybody has like an opportunity to like provide value. So I think, you know, why not start it?
Oh, that's facts. But you know, you most definitely push me. You know, especially, you know, these past couple weeks, you pushed me like, hey, like let's get it going. Like, come up here, let's you know, hey, let's put some stuff up, or let's talk, let's come up here, chop it up about whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you know, my procrastinating ass, you know, was finally, you know, with it and actually came on my shell a little bit. And, you know, looking where we're at now, you know, just imagine 6 months from now, you know. So I'm thankful, bro. I'm thankful.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Facts. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one, man. Appreciate you for letting me come through. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. And we'll see y'all next time on Self Revelations, man.
Sheesh.